Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing sort of a unique video that I've never done before. I'm going to be going over my old Pokemon card set. So the other day I got home from college and I was digging through my old closet of stuff I had back in elementary school and middle school, and I saw this bad boy sitting in the corner. As a parent with the cringy title page full of stars and what I believe are fake Pokemon cards that I taped on here when I was 8 years old because I thought they looked cool. Yeah, that one is a 400 damage attack, which I don't think exists, and yeah, Shadow Pikachu, 999 HP. That was 100% just 8-year-old me thinking I wanted to fool my friends by printing off these fake Pokemon cards and putting them on my binder and hope they believe me that they were real. But and also, I don't know what happened to Jake's Pokemon number 1 and 2. I guess they're lost to time, and I'm just left with my third binder. I don't know if I just transferred the cards from those ones over to this one or what, but this is all I found. And we're going to be going over it today, looking to see if there's any cards worth anything, if I were to get them professionally graded, and maybe sell them online or something of that sorts, because I've recently saw some information that some of the older Pokemon cards can be worth quite a bit of money, and I believe I might have a few of them in here. So I already opened it up, and this was the first thing that fell out when I opened it up. Just a bunch of old energy cards. The rubber band was so old that it rotted and just broke, and they were just lying loose in here. But I don't think these are worth anything. They're just annoying. Me and my friends never actually played the game. We just traded, so these cards were essentially useless to us. Anyways, yeah, let's get started. And if you see anything that's of value and I don't notice it, please leave a comment. And we're going to be going through these from front to back, which hopefully shouldn't take too long. Starting off here, we have, I think were my, at least what I thought were my best cards at the time in terms of damage and how cool they looked and stuff. I do remember these were called level X's. This was sort of the, when I was playing originally, sort of the best cards that you could get. Maybe you'd get one in each tin you bought, or maybe you would get none at all. They were kind of hard to come by. Just to make it clear, I was playing Pokemon mostly during the early 2000s, maybe from like 2005 to 2008 or 10. So that's mostly where these cards came from. But then again, I did, since I was trading them so much, lots of my, my friends' older brothers had Pokemon cards from the 90s still lying around. So the ones that are really worth something, I think, are from the 90s. And I happened to pick up some of those along the way, but they're more towards the back of the book. I remember this guy right here. Let's see if I can zoom in. This is what I believe is called Ancient Mew. And let's see if I can get him in shot. There it is. This one was written in gibberish. I don't actually know if this is a real language. I don't think it is. I think it's 100% made up to look all cool. I think it came out, it was exclusive to maybe some movie or something back in the day. I'm not sure if it's really worth anything, but I just remember it was by far my coolest card, so I always kept it right at the front. Over here we have some level X's. This is my, I think, from highest health to lowest health, so that guy had 170, over to 160, down to 150, and then all the way down to 120 on this first page here. I don't think these guys are really worth much, but they certainly looked cool at the time to me, so I put them right in front. Over here we have just a few more old level X cards, the ones that were not as, I don't know, as powerful, maybe you would say. So I put them on the second page. I don't think these guys are worth anything, but the one on this page that I do, when I was looking back through these originally, and I was looking at maybe which ones might have some value, were these EXs down here. These guys were a little bit older than the level X's, and this I think it's the Armaldo. Let me check my phone. I have them all written down. But the Armaldo, yeah, the 2004 Pokemon Pop Series 1 16 Armaldo EX, which is this guy right here, is apparently can be worth, I mean, anywhere between $40 and $100 based on his quality, I guess. Moving on here, we have some more EX cards. These ones were I remember this guy in the top left really was not in good quality when I got him. He had all sorts of water damage. He might have been worth something, but as you can see, he's just absolutely in terrible condition. So I don't think I can get any value out of that card today. Another one right here is the Kyogre. This is the Black Star Promo 2003 edition, and this one, depending on the condition, was also like between $50 and $100-ish if you get it professionally graded. Yeah, these are all my EX cards. I just put them after the level X ones. I have an old Grow down there. That one might have been worth something, but it's in very bad condition, just like the Walrein up there. Walrein, forgive me if I'm pronouncing these wrong. I really haven't looked at my Pokemon or been interested in Pokemon in probably 12 to 15 years now. Moving on. Yeah, the other guys, I think now we're going to skip a few pages because these are the end of my like really good cards, and we just have some more like not level X or EX, but just some random kind of holographic cards I put in here. Blastoise, I remember him. And now we're getting to some older cards. And right here, you may have noticed it already. This guy, let's move the camera over as far as I can. I'll just have to lift it. This guy in the bottom left, right here, this Charizard is apparently a pretty rare card. I believe the official name is 2002 Pokemon Legendary Collection Charizard Reverse Foil. As you can see, it's all sorts of shiny and glittery, everything that makes your eyes hurt. And I actually don't want to take it out because I think it can be worth quite a bit depending on the condition, but this is an older card. Yeah, 2002, and I think if I looked it up, if you get this one professionally graded at a PSA 10, it can be worth about $30,000, but obviously mine is not a grade 10. It's not terrible condition, but it's probably closer to, I don't know, gently worn, or anywhere from PSA 1 to 5, somewhere in that range would be my guess. So maybe if I got lucky, I could still get $100 or maybe $200 for it, depending on how well it gets graded. Obviously, if I spent that money to get it professionally graded. I never knew this card was worth anything. I just knew it was old back in the day, so I kind of put it a few pages into my deck, into my binder, but really didn't pay it much attention because it obviously doesn't have that much HP and stuff. And back then, when I was just a little kid, I just looked at the HP to assess how good my cards were. Moving on here, we just have some other random cards, some more old ones. And at the top right here, I think we have another one I was looking at. This guy here, the Machamp. He's a first edition, which, if I remember anything, that is really important if you're wanting to get a lot of value out of your cards, to have them as first edition. Machamp, he's the muscle dude, 4 arms, super cool looking. This would be the Game 8 Machamp Holo. So he's a little bit holographic, it's hard to see, but just a little bit if you shake it. And he's first edition. And this one, I think, this was my like second most valuable card. It runs like for a little over $100, depending on the quality and, once again, how it is graded. Now I think we're just going to skip a few pages. I had another Charizard down here in Japanese, but as you can see, it is not in very good quality. It's kind of has some like dirt and stuff on it in the corner there, and I just don't think I took care of it very well, unfortunately. So I don't think that's one to really pay attention to. We have a Gyarados. I think that's Misty's Gyarados. Once again in Japanese. Don't think it's worth much, but it certainly looks cool. And again, please let me know if any of these cards are, if I'm missing anything, because once again, I have really very limited Pokemon knowledge at this point in my life. More Gyarados, another Gyarados here. These are the old cards. You can tell just by how they're kind of, they have these thick borders on the outside. Well, actually, I think the borders are similar to the newer ones, but they just seem to be a little bit more blocky in nature. And the pictures are a lot less like, I don't know, CGI looking. They're more like, they look more like they've been hand drawn. If you look like at a newer card, these two newer ones, you can see that these look like something you generated with a computer, right? The pictures there, well, not these ones. These ones look like somebody drew them, you know, by hand. So that's how I kind of kept track of them back in the day, at least. So those that Blastoise there, kind of cool looking card. We have a Zapdos, Dark Tyranitar, Snorlax. He's the fat guy. I remember him. One of my favorites. Now these were all the Raichus and Pikachu cards I had. I just kind of blocked them together. Here's another one that I think might be worth a little bit. We have a Dark Raichu reverse holographic. You can tell it's pretty old. I think it's 2002 and Pokemon Legendary Collection 7 Dark Raichu reverse foil. This card, depending on the condition, is another one in between $40 and $100, somewhere in there, if I get it graded. And then just below him is another reverse foil guy, Executor. I don't think this Pokemon was very desirable back in the day because it's so ugly. That's why it's not really worth anything, because who wants an Executor? I mean, when you could have a Charizard or a Raichu. But it's just cool to have these old reverse holographic cards. I don't think they're worth much, but I think they're pretty cool. Here was just some miscellaneous cards, I think. Something like a Delta species. These were the guys who had like weird elemental natures to them, things that were abnormal. Just some older cards. I think I have a Dark Charizard in terrible, absolutely terrible condition. A bunch of old Machokes, the guys that come before the Machamp I showed you earlier. Here's a first edition. No, it's not first. Yeah, it is a first edition Magneton. I looked it up. This card isn't worth much, but since it is first edition, some people like to just keep it around because they collect all the first edition cards. Nothing here that is really worth anything. I guess I didn't see this guy earlier, but I do have holographic Alakazam right there. It's hard to see, but there is some sparkles in the yeah, a little bit right there. And then this guy, Brock's Rhydon, is also holographic. That one you can see a little better. Over here we have just some other cards. Now we're getting towards the ones that are just absolutely worthless. Here's a old, I think that's a Jolteon. I can't read Japanese, but if I remember right. And some other electric type cards I kept around. None of these are first edition on this page, but on the next page over here I do have a first edition Dark Dragonair in the bottom here. Looked this one up, not really worth much, but once again kind of cool to just have those first edition cards because they're so old. let's see here what we got left. These were just miscellaneous cards, a little bit more of those, and this guy was from a movie, I think. Yeah, Kids, Warner Brothers presents Pokemon, the first movie. So this card actually came from the very first Pokemon movie, which is insane because I think they've made dozens and dozens of them at this point. It just shows you how old some of these cards are. These were all the unknowns because I think they had just a billion different unknowns for different symbols. And I just threw them all in here. Another first edition card right there. Unknowns, first edition Dark Charmeleon, the guy that comes before Charizard, if I remember right. Holographic Mew. First edition Dark Jolteon. I forgot to look him up. I'm not really sure if that guy's worth anything, but he is in my binder, apparently. First edition Porygon. First edition Magnemite. First edition Charmander. First edition... Oh, I don't know how to say that. Omanite, I think. And then these are just some other guys I threw in there. First edition Dark Kadabra. More electric type guys. These are Pichus, which I think come before Pikachu, but they were added so late that originally there wasn't a Pokemon that came before Pikachu, so they were kind of retconned into the series or into the universe or whatever you want to call it. Porygon, I always liked Porygon. All these other guys are kind of worthless to me. First edition Golduck in the corner here. It's kind of fun. You just got to look carefully. I'm already seeing cards that I missed when I looked through this the first time. I just completely missed in here. This Entei is holographic. I remember him. They made a movie about him back in the day, I think. First edition Misty, Staryu, and Paras. Yeah, I think that's about it for those ones. I remember for a while they made these special card packs that had the World Championships, and in 2009, you could only get them in 2009, obviously. But those packs were so amazing because they had like 3 level X's in them, and me and my friends were just so like psyched that these that these packs were available because they were like the gold mine for getting good cards. And they only sold them at like a special section in Target. I could remember you had to walk to the back of the store and find them sort of on the end of an aisle while the other cards were at the front of the store. Now we're getting to just some like the weakest Pokemon I believe I had. Just kind of random ones that I thought were worthy of being in the binder. A little bit better than the ones I just kept loose in my bag, but good enough to put in the binder, but just in the back of the binder, where no one will ever see them really, except me if I'm looking through. These are some first edition these right here are some more first edition LT Surges Pikachus, and then just the rest of those cards. On this page, for some reason, I had a football card that I just threw in here. Probably just forgot to pull it out, and I just threw it in there one day. Yep, junk. Pretty sure these are junk. I had some Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I guess. This was Exodia. This was like the main dude in Yu-Gi-Oh, where you had to get, you know, all of his limbs to summon him, and it looks like I got the right, left, and headpiece, and, you know, I guess missed out on all the rest, but I did have my Blue Eyes White Dragon here, that famous card everybody loves. That's it for my Pokemon, for the most part. Then I did have some spacers here. where I just put all the cool looking energy and tool cards. I kept a few energy cards back here just because they were like aesthetically pleasing, some of the shiny ones. I put the Jinx back here because these were just like this is the ugliest Pokemon I ever seen, and I thought it was so ugly that I didn't want to put it in the front of my my binder where it would contaminate all the rest of my cards. So I banished all the Jinx cards to just basically the back of the binder, just because they were so ugly. And yep, these are just some trainers. These are like your tool cards. The only one here that I thought was interesting was that first edition Mysterious Fossil up top here, and this doll card because it actually had some HP. You could play it as a Pokemon when it actually wasn't a Pokemon. And I guess a few of these had that, like these fossils also had that quality, but I just thought they were cool back in the day. So yeah, that's my Pokemon card collection. Thank you for watching. Please let me know if I mispronounced anything or I missed anything when I was going through these. But I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. So take care.